How's it going, everyone? Hope you've had a lovely week. But we are now at the leaks being released for the chapter. It doesn't officially come out till Sunday, but I am just excited to get into this. After the end of last chapter, with Shaka's head exploding, and we were this close to the reveal of the traitor, I am just excited to find out who it is. So, this is our review of chapter 1078, Escape Limit, or the Escape Time Limit. We have our Germa 66 cover story carrying on our emotionless excursion, and we have the formation of a new team. Neo Mads has been formed. We've got Caesar and Judge teaming up again. Germa are in celebration. Everyone's happy. We can see Reiju and Ichiji seemingly given like a sort of sigh and a puff and just walking away in the distance. But everyone seems pretty happy with this new alliance, so excited to see where we're eventually gonna see them again in the story with this team up. But this chapter kicks off inside the lab, but it's Sentomaru on the Den Mushi to someone reacting that Kizaru is on the way. And we come over to the second floor of Building B. So Building A is our centre, B and C are on the adjacent sides. And we come over to Stussy and Jinbei. And Stussy is the one on the Den Mushi, her private little Den Mushi correspondent, talking to Sentomaru, saying, yeah, CP0, we're sent to eliminate Dr. Vegapunk and then wait for his arrival. And Sentomaru's like, wow, they're not pulling their punches now. They're really going all out. And it says, well, this is on the level of Ohara, but this is far more severe than that. For one, Dr. Vegapunk has not just continued their research, he's taking it even further. With his scientific mind and the research that they had at Ohara, he's gone even further beyond. And the second problem, Stussy points out, is that unlike Ohara, a whole island dedicated to research and scholars and archaeologists, Egghead is much more formidable as a defensive position. The combat element, the defenses, everything that Egghead Island is capable of makes it a much more dangerous place for the government. And Sentomaru's like, well, when you put it like that, it's no wonder they're sending this much. And they end with, right, any more developments, let me know. All the other transponders are down, so you're our only lifeline. And we kind of get a glimpse of what I think is not Stussy and Jinbei running, but they seem to be like sort of floating through the air. Their boots seem to be like allowing them to like levitate and glide through the area quite quickly. And we see other people do the same later. But we come back to Sentomaru, giving the orders immediately, saying, right, we are not allowed to hesitate. You heard what's happening, what's coming. We need to go. We need to evacuate. So everyone immediately scatters, prepares the ships. They have to make that quick getaway before the Marines turn up. Everyone's in their positions. We come up back to the lab to the third floor of Building C. Kicking back off with Frankie's group. Now, Frankie is the only one still sort of standing after S Snake's attacks and everyone being turned to stone. So, interestingly, the stone hasn't spread on Frankie. So clearly, Boa's attack and Boa's abilities that S Snake has got is it's targeted. The love fruit ability. So Frankie is currently petrified and turned to stone, but only half his body is. So the other side, his left side, looking at him the other way around, his left side is still moving and he can still talk. And he's saying my right side's frozen solid, but I can still pack a punch here. But unfortunately, Lilith and Usopp are completely turned to stone. They took it directly. They can't move. And we see little Pythagoras carrying on, saying, why have you done this? Who's ordered you to do this? But unfortunately, S-Snake is not holding back and crushes Pythagoras, and there is a giant explosion, this massive eruption of fire, and just a shadow of S-Snake walking through. And all we hear is a voice saying, wait. Who could it be? Is it Frankie calling to her, or is it somebody else? But back over now into Building A on the second floor. We've got Robin's group. So Robin, Chopper, and Atlas. And they're saying, wow, there were some serious explosions. Are the Seraphim running amok? And even Atlas is like, well, that doesn't make sense. So these still don't know what's happening everywhere else. All the cameras are down. They're just searching for Vegapunk still. And they say, well, don't worry, that was Nami's scream we heard before, but a certain someone will be there in an instant. As we saw, Sanji appeared flying in. So they're fully aware that Sanji's already there. There's no need to worry. We should focus on where everyone else is pinned down, maybe even finding Vegapunk ourselves. They're fighting. We need to find the main body. And even Robin points out, well, what if this was all a distraction and that's where the main body's been taken? This is all a distraction for someone to steal Vegapunk away. And almost in the back of her mind, Atlas was remembering of a certain room hidden away underneath Egghead Island that was sealed off, but she said, I wrote it off. It wasn't very useful, but maybe down there. And that is where they are heading. And as well, the three of these are flying above the ground or hovering. So getting some quick boots. But we jump up a floor to Nami holding on to Edison, hoping he's okay. And Brook is immediately in a soul form, saying he's going to go and search for Vegapunk, but warning Sanji to look out. But Sanji takes a direct hit, but didn't even move. Sanji stood there with his arms crossed going, don't be surprised by this. This is the undying power of love. And the reaction of S-Shark, a full punch from a Seraphim, didn't even move Sanji. So these augments that his body have now undergone, he seems to be fully equipped to fight a Seraphim. But unfortunately, Luffy and Zoro over here, back another floor up, are still struggling with S-Bear and S-Hawk. And even worse is when they're trying to catch their breath, there's just a little blinking motion next to S-Bear because S-Hawk has just disappeared. And they're saying, where'd he go? He's run off. He's reprioritized the order of his targets. And Lucci gives a cold response, being like, he's trying to thin the herd out. Maybe he's going for your weaker friends, because that would rattle even you guys, the strong ones. So Zoro jumps into action. Obviously, it's Mihawk Seraphim. It's S-Hawk. He's already tried clashing. Zoro's going to chase him down. And then Luffy realizes he's going to get lost and asks more of an order to Kaku, saying, go after him. You need to go and help him. And he calls him Usopp. So he's just telling him, go help him. And he's doing like, who are you calling Usopp? So we get the nose joke in there. But Luffy goes in, firing away at Esper, and even Lucci's like, yeah, use that prophetic strength of yours. Doesn't matter. It's not going to work anyway. But this is where the chapter gets really interesting. So the narrator starts to speak now and says that there is one day remaining until the infamous Egghead Incident. Now, however, the wheels of this tale spin. They were set in motion 3 months ago. And during this time, we are seeing flashes of Bonnie dealing with Kuma's memories and just tears. But we only get those little panels before we come over to Marijois, the Holy Land, where the Gorosei are, all the celestial dragons, and it's someone trying to look for someone in power, and says that Dr. Vegapunk is researching the Void Sentry. So 3 months ago was when our traitor messaged the world government to say he's doing his research. Vegapunk is researching the Void Sentry. So we had CP5 go out to investigate. No, nothing turned up in their investigation. But as they tried to leave, their ships were destroyed. They disappeared. Who knows where. So CP7 and CP8 were then subsequently sent. Found nothing. Tried to leave. No ships ever left Egghead. Later on, our traitor messages again. Want to talk to someone higher up now, the top brass, and we see our shot of the Gorosei talking to this individual. The conversations that totally expose what was happening on Egghead, what Vegapunk was actually up to. And that was when our 5 elders, the Gorosei, determined that Vegapunk needed to die. His assassination was something that needed to happen, and it would fall to CP0 to do it. And obviously Kizaru showing up as well. But not just Kizaru. That they agreed that one of their own would go. This was the severity now of how far Vegapunk was in his research. And they knew Vegapunk would resist. So that's why Saturn's going. This man is going to be a menace. But we have a full reinforced Admiral naval fleet coming. We've got glimpses of the Vice Admirals. We know we've got Doll, who was recently revealed. There are 3 other gentlemen. Some guy with like glasses and like what I assume is blonde, spiky hair. Another guy in glasses, but like a really long beard and like a white streak through it. And then a man with like 7 chins and a bald head. I'm assuming they're all going to be Vice Admirals. But obviously we see Kizaru and St. J. Garcia Saturn there, all heading towards Egghead. So this plan has been going on now for a while, leading up to this day. But unexpectedly, here come the Straw Hats. Emperor Straw Hat Luffy showed up. And even the government were like, how is this complication happened? There's no way that that man has shown up again. And we actually see a shot of Year 5th Luffy just laughing. Quite funny. But we see a beautiful shot of Egghead. But a very disquieting narrator tells us that the chain of events that will culminate tomorrow will eventually shock the world. So we don't know what time of day we're at now, but we know by tomorrow, however this arc ends, will shock the world. But this is where we get into the good stuff. Vegapunk recoiling from the fact that Shaka is bleeding out, smoking, can't see basically anything. We still have a helmet intact, but it's all shattered. And he is furious. He is asking this individual to answer. And this individual comes right up to Vegapunk's pod. And Vegapunk's actually in the center one. Swings open the door. We just see a shadow. And this large individual crouches down and says, it's because I want to be a celestial dragon. And it is revealed that it's York. Oh, sick Stella. The one that was always in the background, the one that was turned to stone first. There were so many indicators to this. And could have been any of the Stellas I tried to, I think it was a few chapters ago when I tried to piece who could it be, but I couldn't see it being many of them. However, I remember recalling that York was one who her directive is about eating, sleeping, doing all the menial tasks for the Vegapunks, while the other one are working on important jobs. That's York's job. So she flies under the radar probably all the time there, gets away with everything. But it turns out she is the satellite of greed. And even Vegapunk said a few chapters ago that desires are something in this world that go above anything. That the desire for things. So York's greed, her desire, was always for this. She wants to be a celestial dragon, and even Vegapunk saying, like, why is that a thing? Why do you want to be a celestial dragon? You actually went to Marijwal one time with Vegapunk. You saw how vile they are. And even she's just like laughing, saying, you sound like Shaka. Oh, well, not so much now that he's dead. But you know what? It's hard to keep track of all these Vegapunks. Isn't the world just better off with just one of us? And that's where we end with York just smiling down at Vegapunk. And the pistol, by the way, she's using is not a pistol, it is a cannon. Because York is like the tallest of the Vegapunks, probably, if not just a bit smaller than Atlas. Atlas is also pretty big. But York is a big woman. So the pistol in her hand isn't a pistol for anyone else. Pistol in her hands. Well, her desire is to be a celestial dragon. Now, either something happened when she visited and the desire started. She wanted to become a celestial dragon from that point onwards. There's also the chance that because she is a satellite, she is a robot at the end of the day. How strong these desires have to be to override everything. Because as Shaq has pointed out, the first job of the satellite is to protect the main body. So even Vegapunk's face here is like beyond what he could expect now. He did give these satellites sentience to do their own jobs. But even Shaka said the first job is to prioritize the Stella. But York doesn't seem to be doing that. So either her desire, whatever's triggered this change in her, was so deep that it changed something, or that York isn't the only traitor, or York is just the cover up for the traitor. That she was hacked or influenced in some way to act like this. But if she is this clever, it was a clever plan, because again, Oda set it up beautifully. The first the first satellite to fall was York getting turned to stone. Now, whether that's when the Seraphim got ordered, but even before then, Snake was already there. But she got turned to stone. Everyone jumped off. So York was still up on the balcony. So before Snake jumped down, she undone the petrification, and York just got to walk away. I'm interested to know what the motivation is. If, let's say hypothetically now, it is York. York is now up there as one of the BBGs, one of the bad guys for this arc, dealing with the other, I don't know, top bad guys of One Piece. I'm surprised we're going in this direction. If she is the one, she's not being manipulated or hacked in any way, what's her motivation to turn against Vegapunk? Oh, this setting some really cool stuff up here. And then how are they going to escape a naval fleet? Well, I'm looking forward to finding out. See you guys next time.